So this is where you get to be aggressive, okay? You get to tap into that like badass that you are, okay? I want you to think about
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, with the Desert Eagle. How you doing? Okay, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and my Instagram handle is Kayla Casper, like the friendly ghost 14. Follow me on Instagram, reach out, ask questions. I'm here to help, and there's no dumb questions, so follow me. I have been hunting for about 7 years now, specifically waterfowl hunting. How I came into it was I got thrown into the industry with a guide, kind of chased birds, if you will, across the country, learned about migratory patterns, and I found that I really love pulling the trigger, so I love shooting skeet. That's kind of my meditative place, and having a shotgun is just super empowering because you kind of feel like a badass. It's, you know, I'm little, the gun's about as big as me most of the time, and I have had my CHL for almost 5 years now. The reason I wanted to get it was I was in my early 20s, and I was living alone. I felt I needed self-protection, so I started asking questions, went out to the range a couple times, which led me to pick the gun I now conceal carry, which is a Glock 43 that I absolutely love. It's a 9mm. The 9mm doesn't have a ton of kick in this particular gun, and I was comfortable with that. So that's what I have now. I still have a long way to go in my journey as far as what I want to do with my concealed. I would love to learn how to tactical shoot, do competition shooting, just because I'm fascinated by a male-driven industry, to be completely honest with you. I think that more women should stand up and ask the questions, not only for self-protection, but we need to know these things. We don't need to be pushed out of a male-driven industry just because we're afraid to ask questions. I think it's great. I think tactical shooting would be a lot of fun, and I know personally for me, it would make me feel more comfortable concealing if I was out practicing every day, getting comfortable with not only my Glock 43, which is what I have and what I'm comfortable with now, but kind of branching out to other different types of firearms. And I'm really excited to work with Paige and Jade. I'm so excited to be around Jade's truck. This is so cool, it's so empowering. She did post something on Instagram a couple days ago I do want to mention because it really resonated with me. And I think in the firearm industry, it's so important. It was like, you have to be comfortable being embarrassed so that you can be a foolish beginner to master something. And I think too many people, not just women, are afraid to ask a question like, hey, what is a safety grip? Or how do you pull this back? Or is my grip right? So I'm so excited to work with her and kind of get some pointers on how I can be better and be as badass as she is eventually.
What's up, guys? My name is Jade Struck. I'm here with Miss Kayla Casper.
Hello.
And today we are talking about grip and stance, and we're doing a little bit of a tutorial because Kayla has expressed to me her want to get into competition shooting as well as maybe dabble in the CCW and tactics side of things.
Yes, absolutely.
So, have you done any classes before?
I have not.
Okay,
I have not.
So great, we got a first timer, that's perfect. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna pick out a pistol. We've got plenty here to choose from. We kind of discussed you have smaller hands.
I do.
Yeah, well, look there. We got smaller hands, and I've got giant man hands, so that's gonna work well for me. So she's gonna pick something that fits her size, and also that is a little bit though on the not compact, but not super large, so that way, if you were to say pick a pistol that you've never, like you want to get a pistol for both, that's what I would recommend that you choose to train with right now. Okay. So what do you choose?
I think I'm impartial to the Glock just because that's what I have at home.
Okay, what kind of Glock do you have at home?
I have a Glock 43.
Okay.
So it's a little bit smaller than this in this area, but I like this. This is nice.
Awesome, I love that. That's a great pick. I'm gonna go with the Glock 34, mainly because for me, with being predominantly a competition shooter, I always go with a full-size gun. I think that the Glock 34 is perfect length and width ratio, but also it's a Glock. I'm partial to them. I really like them. And it's got great capacity, and I've seen a lot of people compete with these kinds of guns. Yeah. So I'm gonna choose a Glock 34. And you know, when we're done with this, if you wanna try it out too and see if you like it, you should. Okay. But the main thing is capacity. More bullets is more fun. Okay, so first thing I wanna talk about is range safety. We're not on a range, we're in a studio. Nothing is loaded on this table, but we're gonna go through it anyways.
Okay.
So the first rule of thumb is keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, okay? Second rule of thumb is never aim your pistol in a direction of anything that you don't intend to kill or destroy, which means know your surroundings, know what's beyond your target, all that good stuff. Third is treat every gun as if though it's loaded at all times. It's just really one of those things you never know and you want to know. So just treat them like they're loaded at all times. There's nothing wrong with over checking to see if something is. It's nothing wrong with being overly safe. You know what I mean? Like we love it. We love a good safety check. And then fourth is know your targets, know your entire space, be aware. And if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. It's better to know. And remember that this is your time to train. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know what you're doing and want to know, because the number one thing is that you're taking in information. A lot can be coming at you. If you need a double check in, let me know. I'm here for you. And just take your time with it and feel it out. My number one thing is make sure that you remember how it feels when you're doing things. And when we get into the draw cycle later on, you'll understand like, okay, this feels right. And if it doesn't feel right, then you can self-correct. And that's how you become a better shooter on your own, is to just learn what feels right, learn how you shoot. And remember that your hands are much smaller than my hands, so some things might be difficult for you. We can always cater towards you, okay? All right, let's get started. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about stance. So the first thing with the stance, and we're gonna build from the ground up. So we're gonna start with our feet, which you guys can't see, but ultimately what's happening is I'm standing in a stance that's shoulder width apart, okay? And we're gonna build it up to our knees. And we always have a slight bend in our knees, and that's gonna automatically shift our hips back into a hinge, okay? And so I just want you to just feel your hips shift back. That's perfect. Slight bend in the knees. We're thinking low center of gravity because we wanna be grounded, okay? Second, or I guess we're moving up, the hips are always squared towards the center of our target array. So if we said that everything out there were targets, we would put our hips dead center of all of it, so that way we're kind of square to everything. The stance and the grip that I'm teaching you is isosceles, so it's ultimately designed for you to be able to have 180-degree range of motion. So slight bend in the knees, hinge back. Remember, we're gonna make this tight, okay? So we're thinking about activating our core with the hinge, but we're not rounding our back, we're not doing this, we're just activating, so I'm tight here, okay? And then with our shoulders, so I want you to make a fist here, and then cup your fist, good, and then we're just gonna put it out, okay? So when we're here, shoulders down, but we're not forcing them down, they're just down, okay? And then we're gonna be nice and relaxed up top, slight bend in our elbows, okay? And we're thinking about kind of fanning them out. Yeah, because we want to have like a tabletop. And if you notice, like, you see how it's kind of like a triangle? Yeah. Isosceles. Okay. So that's us. And then we should be able to have full range of motion, and we're feeling good, we're feeling fine, okay? Now I want you to stand in this stance. And I know you're kind of wearing heels, so like I'm not gonna like throw you backwards. But I want you to just go ahead and lean into me. Very good. Now I want you to balance yourself out. That's your shooting stance, okay? And you're always thinking about, so this is where you get to be aggressive, okay? You get to tap into that like badass as you are, okay? I want you to think about
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, with the Desert Eagle. How you doing? Okay, let's do it. I want you to think about always driving that pistol into your target, so that way you have that force behind you that you're aggressively dominating the entire playing field, okay? That's the stance, okay? Now I'm gonna teach you the grip. You don't have to stand in the stance the whole time. We're just gonna go through it. So the first thing I want you to do, I want you to chamber check, make sure everything is clear, finger off the trigger, rack it up. The first thing that we're gonna do, this is called the beaver tail, okay? We're gonna fill up the beaver tail with the web of our hand, okay? And we're gonna make sure that we're nice and high and tight, and our wrists are gonna be pretty much locked in. That way, wherever my wrist goes, I know that where my pistol is going, okay? So we're nice and high and tight with the right hand into the web, and our right fingertips are just going to be pulling into us on the grip, okay? We're creating a tension. And tension's important in shooting. You know, we being women tend to have less grip strength, so we're gonna learn how to work with that versus trying to fight it and be like, oh, I can't do it, and just give up. We're not gonna do that. So we're gonna learn how to apply tension to make sure that we can control our pistol. So we're gripping there, and that's pretty much the right hand. It doesn't need to be a death grip, okay? I just kind of death grip it anyways, but we're just thinking about the pinch. Main thing is we split up like hand grip strength. I would say about 70-30. I would say 30% with the right hand, just making sure that it's locked in and it's all in the wrist here. And then we're gonna go 70% with the left. Let's turn this way. Okay, so first things first is this knuckle here, I call it a karate chop. It's not like technical, okay? Like that's not like, it's not like that's not professional, but we're gonna do it, okay? It sticks to the brain. Karate chop, okay? Yeah. So this knuckle is going to karate chop underneath the trigger guard, okay? Perfect, and we're gonna do palms open, and that'll make sense when we go through the draw cycle, but the main reason is because we wanna be able to build it, okay? The right thumb is going to be, I say thumbs up, dude, which also is not professional, leaving room. And then this left thumb is also stiff as well, okay? So we're karate chopped here. Next, what we're gonna do is we're going to roll our wrist up to meet the other base of our palm, back.
Okay.
Boom, fill in that gap, okay? And is that comfortable for you? Okay, great. And you know, it might be too thick of a grip, and that might be something that we need to work with. But for now, we want to fill in that gap. We want to try to get this wrist to, to kiss it. Yeah. Okay, great. Number one thing with grip is that you want to make sure that there generally aren't any gaps. That way we've got as much real estate of our hands on the grip, and we're doing good things, okay? So we're here. I want you to aim out, okay? Now, I want you to think about still keeping these two kissing here with the palm and the base of our thumb here. But now I want you to think about reaching that left hand up, or that left thumb up, and straightening it out, okay? Pointed towards your target. That is beautiful. The main goal is to kind of shoot that left thumb, boom, forward. That is beautiful, okay? Now I want to talk about tension, okay? You know, because we need to work, and it's our non-dominant hand, so we need to kind of cheat it a little bit. So the main thing I want to think about are 3 points of contact, okay? So we've got our left hand pinching here, we've got the base of our palm here, and then we've got the left thumb, okay? Those are our 3 points of contact. So I want you to think about squeezing and gripping those the fingertips of the left hand towards you to create a tension around the front of the grip, okay? Now in the back, we've got our 2 points of contact between the two wrists. I want you to think about breaking a pencil. You ever breaking a pencil? Yeah. Okay, so it's like a downward motion, right? So you're breaking a pencil in the back. What that's automatically gonna do is roll out those elbows. It's gonna flare them out, which is what you want.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because if the elbows aren't flared out, what it's gonna do is actually gonna cause recoil to stop. It's gonna be becoming like a jerking motion up top. Whereas if you have a slight bend, it almost acts as like a shock absorber, and it just goes through your body, okay? So we're breaking a pencil in the back, and then most important part is with that left thumb, we're pressing against the frame, but we also have a downward torque to it. And the reason for that is because a lot of the time with the recoil management, you know, if you've experienced recoil before, it's kind of flipping up and down. That left hand downward torque is gonna help maintain the recoil. And the point of breaking the pencil in the back and that downward torque in the front is to stabilize your sight. So, and also, but you're using that breaking pencil tension to maintain your back sight. So that way when you're snapping it down from the recoil, you wanna make sure that you're not pulling the front sight out of the back sight. Good, thumb up, make room. There, you wanna, so if you notice, they kind of fit like a glove. Yeah, that's the glove that you're trying to fit right there. Yep. Thumbs pointed towards your target. We got a nice tension in the back here. Boom, we're gripping with the left hand, downward torque with the thumb. And now I want you to get in a shooting stance. Good, and now I want you to push into me like we practiced before. Good, now balance. That's your shooting stance. Aggressive. Yep, and make sure that this left thumb, the number one thing that
says touching.
It's not only touching, and it's helpful when like you have a pistol that has like a grip to it. So for instance, like this is called, they call it a gas pedal, but this is used to do what, you know, because we don't have that kind of tension. So this is used to do what we're trying to accomplish with this grip. But you want to think about pressing against it and then downward torque. And that it's kind of hard to do if you don't have any kind of like grip texture to it. But that's ultimately what you're trying to do. And the hope is that you can use the tension on the pistol to help maintain that recoil. Yes, come back up. Good, and fill in those gaps. Good. Breaking a pencil, downward torque, squeezing in the front, stabilized. Good. Push into me. Good. Good. Awesome. And aggressive. Remember, we're always gonna be kind of dominant, okay? Good job. So we talked about thumbs, thumb placement. You did great. Tension, making sure that we're maintaining recoil the best that we can. You know, we're using our non-dominant hand to do most of the work here. We talked about 70-30. So the left hand, this will really help develop the grip strength in the left hand, but it's always good to try to practice that outside of off of the range. But ultimately what it's about is solidifying that grip in your memory and remembering what it feels like when you have a good grip. Did it feel good?
No, it did feel good.
Okay,
feel tight. It's tight.
Good. And now I want you to try it on like a small, this is what you have, right? You have a 42 at home?
43. 43.
Yeah, baby. And always remember, roll it up. My main thing is thinking about how can I align my thumb with my wrist to make this tight.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, I want you to think about always reaching with that thumb. Yeah. And then tight. Like, yeah, flare those out a bit. Break that pencil, shoulders down and relax. And then push into me. Yeah, and the main thing with your stance is that you want to make sure that you're there, you're aggressive, but you're still, you're not off balance.
Yeah.
When you're at home dry firing, you've got to practice your stance. You got to solidify the fact that now you're using your muscles. Sometimes I even flare out my knees.
Okay.
Kind of like what we would do with like when we squat.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? You're activating these muscles. You're activating the core. Your back is in line as well. Your shoulders are down. Everything's engaged because you're also going to be moving if you're doing competition shooting.
Okay.
I love competition shooting because to me, it's super beneficial for like tactics out of the house, right? Like you learn grip and stance, you learn all of the proper handling of your firearm through competition shooting, how to do it quick and how to shoot accurately.
Right.
And then when you add that in, if it was like a soup to like tactics, you're making like a recipe for success.
Yeah.
Because now you've got all of your firearm handling like locked in, ready to go. You're doing awesome, you're fast, you're accurate when you need to be, and all of that good stuff. And now you're adding it into like tactics are based off of operation, which is about really mission oriented, and you have a goal and you're going after it and you've got to follow these steps and you've got to do it accordingly, right? And that way, when you're doing these things, you don't have to think about your firearm handling because you've already done that work. And that's one thing I'm grateful for is like me coming from competition, I train with some of my buddies at Full Spectrum Warrior and they do some really cool stuff. You should come with me. It would be fun. But when I went there, it was still a lot for me because we were shooting in 360 and like there was people around me and I'm not used to that. So and then we were running and at the time I was big girl, you know what I mean? Like I was like 150 and I was muscly, but and it was still a lot for me even being a professional competer, like
there was still something to learn, something to correct.
Me not having to think about the actual handling of things made it a lot easier for me to focus on the actual task at hand.
Right.
And so that's what I would recommend for you. But yeah, you did great. And the main thing is practice that, dry fire, use that grip and stance. Okay. I wish we had time today, but we don't, to do an actual draw cycle. That's my favorite thing in the world. But the main thing is just think about the main points that you need to hit. Okay. Which is, left hand tight, always reaching with that thumb, okay, breaking the pencil in the back, strong, steady stance, side alignment, trigger press.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm doing my homework.
You're doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks.
All right. Yeah, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. And safe shooting. Awful.